Shield Bash!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Anime Club. Today, we're going to talk about the specific characters from BOFURI. You know, we're going to talk about Maple. We're going to talk about the other people. I'm going to get that list up because Maple is the only name I can remember.
But good sign. But before that, Waifu Wars! Waifu Wars! Waifu Wars!
Realm, let's start with you.
So I definitely appreciated, like, my most favorite character that I'm actually seeing her name now, Kasumi, the assassin girl that they try to meet.
Okay.
Or that they meet and tries to kill them, but then they end up befriending.
Okay. Knick-knack? I've got a list if you need it.
I need a list. It's been 2 weeks.
Okay. I can tell you which one's which by the name, because I know which ones are which.
Okay.
But in the meantime, Vorn, do you have a waifu?
Hold on, I need to look
Also,
as well.
okay, so I will say, guys, this show does not have the most memorable character names. It's actually easier to remember character designs, in my opinion, because they each have like a specific thing that they do. It's just I can't always remember their names. They don't use their names constantly either.
No.
Sometimes they just address each other without names. My personal waifu is either Guildmaster Pain, who's the #1 player in the server, or specifically Kuromu, who is the other shield guy after he gets his Lord of Death armor, which doesn't mean he has powers over death. It just literally means that he gets beat to literally 1 HP so many times that now he gets to like go like D&D berserker and like stay alive at like 0 HP temporarily with his armor.
Yeah.
My waifu is me.
That doesn't count.
No, that is a character. That is the Fire Clan leader.
Oh. God, I just didn't spell me. But I hate that name. Who's yours?
And what's worse though is that it's
Vorn's waifu is Frederica, which is the girl that the best friend gets into that like.
So the smug lady.
Yeah, the smug lady from the other guild, the #1 guild.
Yeah.
The Order of the Holy Sword.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should kind of go through this in order of the characters in Maple's guild, and then talk about the other guilds.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Maple. What do we feel about Maple? I think that like for the first, like up to the end of the first event and Maple's nerfing, she is my favorite character ever. But as we've said several times in the story, I feel like she just things keep falling into her lap.
Yeah.
And I understand that in games there are hidden things and you could find them by accident, but I feel like she just has a disproportionate amount of like things that need nerfing that just fall into her lap that don't get nerfed.
You want to know what other stat she has probably besides vitality? Luck.
Yeah, she has like 3,000 luck stat.
No. Luck maxed out.
Yeah.
Luck maxed out. You just can't see it in the stat screen.
Yeah, she just like happened to get that. But like I will say I do feel a particular sense of like, you know, kinship with her whole let me dump everything into defense and just go at it like a tanker.
No. She was like that 1,000th customer and you give them like the free stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you got.
I thought Maple was a fun main character up till after that little I came back to the real world and couldn't function as a human being moment. After that, she started to feel a lot less relatable, I guess, to me.
Like I said, she just started to get things without having to like think up clever ways.
Well, I don't have a problem with her not having to think it up.
Or not think it up, but not having to stumble across clever ways that exploited the game.
I don't mind her being a crouching moron hidden badass trope.
Yeah.
But the problem is it felt more like at a certain point they were throwing shit at her.
Yeah.
As opposed to her it's not stumble into. Stumbling into is the joke.
Yeah.
There's a certain point where it feels like the devs were throwing stuff for her to catch.
Yeah. What about you, Realm? You have any more opinions on Maple?
No, not in particular, honestly. She's just MASH, but with less senpai.
Yeah. Vorn?
I already said Shield Bash.
Okay. So Sally, her best friend, the pro gamer. From what I understand, she is basically a pro gamer. She has like awards and shit on her wall.
I actually liked her character. She's one of the few characters from Maple's Guild that I felt maintained their characterization fairly well throughout the story.
Yes, her exasperation remained for the entire story.
Yeah, and she continued to be very much a hardcore gamer throughout the story, where she even like takes a lot of the last event upon herself. In that last event, it never feels like she quite devolves into I'm just going to talk up Maple for the rest of the story.
I like how they use her to show, not tell, how an actual pro gamer would play at a game, and they present her as like a juxtaposition to Maple, who is a complete and utter idiot. And I do enjoy that because I wouldn't have liked being told what was wrong with what Maple did. I liked being shown.
Oh, what was this entrance comedy? It's like straight man and like what?
Min-maxer is like technically what is what Sally is.
Yeah, I'm talking entrance like comedy duos. It's like
this
straight
man.
The straight man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely like that aspect of Sally's character where she's just like she looks at, okay, how can I best balance my stats like optimally to get this kind of like specialization out of my character. Like she's very articulate about how she even like spends her points and stuff like that. Also, I appreciated her drive for PvP because I understand.
I also appreciated specifically about Sally how she built her character around Maple's, because Realm is going to introduce me to Dark Souls.
Yes,
remastered. He's promised to, and he's already been showing me like how I can make like a tanker build because he knows that that's what I do. Me unga bunga hit with big stick.
Yes.
And I think he's already planning like his character and like what we're gonna do around my
well
tanker.
I've already had this character for a little while, but this is just kind of like, and actually it's honestly the only character I have at the moment, so it's just easier for me to go through with it anyways.
He's customizing my tanker around his mage.
Yes and no.
It's relatable. I get it. Yeah, because I feel like that happens in D&D sometimes. Like the boys all know that I play Unga Bunga, so none of them need to if they don't want to, which is nice.
And we also have to cover you with our kind of stuff.
I'm not good at magic.
No, I usually end up playing either some kind of support DPS or another or like a paladin or something like that to keep your dumb ass alive.
Yeah.
Why am I always the mage, which needs to come up with creative ways to get you guys out of shit?
Because you like being the mage. But I think with that being said, Sally is basically like, like master, like one of those master characters in like sports anime.
I don't know if she's a master character as much as she's just the more experienced best friend.
Well, but that's what I mean. Like she gives advice and stuff like that, and she like sometimes explains like when we need like an explanation. She feels like the character that's put in to like show us what the main character is doing wrong, and I like that. I do.
Master Hodor.
With that being said, I think we move to Kasumi, who is the assassin that they fight and then befriend.
Yes.
Great introduction.
Yes, indeed.
Great introduction, but I don't really feel like I know who Kasumi is yet. I feel like she had this great bit of character introduction when we first meet her, but she joins the guild so quickly and so easily, and she's introduced like right before the guild is created, so we don't even get to see her in like more than one episode before the guild comes into being.
And as I've said, once the guild is formed, a lot of these characters just kind of start to become harem characters.
Yeah.
Like they're obviously, it's not a romantic harem, but it's the same kind of deal as a harem.
They're like guild fodder behind Maple and Sally.
Yeah.
Even Sally sometimes.
Even Sally falls into that occasionally.
Then Kuromu is the shielder that she meets in the first episode. And I feel like I said when I called him my waifu only after the Hell Armor, I actually feel like his character is better before the Hell Armor.
Yeah.
Because
Same.
he's separate from Maple, like in the beginning. Like we see him separately and he works with other players and they don't work together, but sometimes they see each other in game, and he always has like a word of advice, or where she can go and what she can do, because he's a veteran gamer. He games a lot. But I feel like after he gets included in the guild, he just falls into the background, and then the only time that he becomes in any way noticeable is when he gains the hell armor so he can keep up with Maple and Sally. I feel like they nerfed him so fast.
They tried to make that into his character arc, but at the same time, they didn't focus on it enough for it to actually mean anything.
Yeah. So he's kind of just like the funny idiot in the background in the beginning, and then he just fades away and then gains the hell armor.
And and as a random side note, the only dude in Maple's guild.
Oh, is the
No, there's another dude.
yeah,
No.
the dude with the Rubik's Cube?
No, that's not a dude.
That's a girl?
That's a girl.
No, it's
Unless
not.
unless I'm mistaken, but that's not. That looks like a
Kinda-
tomboy to me.
Kanade's male.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Maybe I fell for the trap then.
Okay.
Oh my!
He didn't
He
even look
fell.
like a trap.
With
God,
that,
I don't know. They look like a tomboy to me personally.
I always thought Kanade was male. With that being said, I guess we're moving on to Kanade,
Yeah.
who's basically a spellcaster, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very specialized spellcaster.
And
I like it.
Yes.
I like what he is. I also feel like I didn't really know who Kanade was at all. He has the same problem where he's introduced right before he joins the guild.
But I feel like Kanade, I do genuinely think that Kanade gets the most on his own scenes of all the background characters after the guild has started, because we do see him like putting spells into that box thing on his own several times.
You're right. Out of all the power sets, he's the one that I understood about the most because they explained it the most.
I do not like mage characters, but his skill is actually really cool with that Rubik's Cube thing.
I can just
Yes.
store a spell for later use after I cast it into this cube.
Yeah, I actually think that's really cool. Not gonna lie, he's definitely like my top 3 or 4 in the guild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a side note, I didn't actually mean to push us into the Kanade
it's okay.
discussion. I wanted to make a comment about Kuromu,
Okay.
about his pre hell armor.
Yeah.
He looks dead ass like the Sword Art Online character that you see once.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, you see once and never see again in Sword Art Online.
Oh
Yeah.
no, you see him.
Yeah, oh, you see him, but he's become a more of a background character than Kuromu is.
Yeah.
Arguably, I think that's pretty much all we have to say about Kanade, because other than his cool power system, we know nothing about him.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we might know the least about.
Because he doesn't like,
Kanade.
unlike even the assassin, at least had a cool like intro, basically an episode or an arc.
Yeah.
He just kind of shows up, says a few things, and then leaves, and
Yeah.
then gets recruited later because they were friendly.
And then there's who's the armorer.
So is the blacksmith of the group. Then yeah, that's basically her role. She's the delegated blacksmith.
Just imagine if you could go up to your local Starbucks employee and just say that that you've talked to every time you get Starbucks. They know your order by heart at this point, and you can just say, "Hey, you'll want to come to me and my friends." I don't have a good description here. I don't know where I'm going with this.
I feel like she gets shafted because she has her own store and she does like
Yeah.
a ton of business, and then all of a sudden she just like gives that because we don't.
That's right. You want to come make smoothies for me and my friends.
Yeah, we don't see her
Yeah.
like taking commissions anymore.
No.
She does mention it once, but it's for Maple. So it feels like she loses all that development of like being this really awesome armor that does really cool armor in favor of like just working exclusively for the guild. And I feel like that stifles like creativity and other things that she could have as a character going forwards.
Mhm.
But we're not going to know until season 2, which has been announced and is coming out this year.
I definitely feel like Iz got the shaft in terms of like any character development whatsoever.
God, she did, because she was like, she and Kuromu were like, so, you know, they were very, we don't guild. And then Maple invited them and they were just like, okay. And then the only times we see is she's like, let me get some like material to build you the hammer you want, and I'll build her the angel armor she wants. But she never does anything else. And I feel like that's really sad.
Yeah.
And then there's Mai and Yui,
Yes.
The two twins.
the Hammer Twins.
Yes.
Stop. Hammer time.
Da-na-na-na. Da-na.
So I actually really like the twins because they're two characters that basically show up and do the exact same thing as Maple, but in a slightly different stat.
Mhm.
Except they don't have because we see them in episode like 1 or 2, I think, like passing.
Yeah.
But they don't have a Sally, like a friend who knows gaming to help them, so they're stuck on level 1 because while they deal a massive amount of damage, they can't move, they can't defend themselves, they can't do anything but hit hard. But I will say though, I feel like we lose. I feel like, to me, I felt like they had a story, like building, like it was going to be something sad, why they were so shy. But then when they get invited into the guild, nothing becomes of it. Like we never see anything about why they were so shy or why no one would take them with them. Like there's no dramatic flashbacks or anything to provide why they're so shy. And I think that then Sally's like, let me just take you like leveling so that you like can move. And that completely negates their weakness, in a way that not like Maple does, which is ingenuitive in some ways, but just in like a general way. And I feel like they lose something.
Yeah, because
from that.
In fairness, like Sally basically just gave them like the pro. Here's a pro gamer tip for you: you can step to the side and dodge most attacks.
No. You must take the attack and absorb that damage.
No,
they can't. They have no defense.
Yeah, I know, but we're talking about shield here, girl, and Mesa. We're going to do shield.
They're glass cannons.
Yeah. There's nothing to do with shield.
I'm trying to make a joke.
I don't get it. I'm sorry, I don't get it. Maybe I just don't.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like they got shafted in any sort of development.
I don't know. Even early on, I feel like I'd seen their characters before. I couldn't even tell you an exact example. But out of all the characters, they felt the most.
It definitely felt tied to Maple.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. I don't know. Tied to
No,
Maple.
I think he means like seen them as in has seen this same character in another anime, basically.
Like the same
okay.
trouble. Yeah, Maple and Sally have like things that are similar to Fate characters that I've seen, but I didn't feel like their characters were those characters.
Yeah.
These characters, I feel like they feel the most tropey, I guess, out of any of the characters in this show, if that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah. I do think out of the whole guild, though, they got the shaft in any sort of backstory, because they could have at least done like a single sad sob story about like why they were so shy and didn't have any friends on level 1, and they couldn't even bother to take 5 minutes of showtime to tell us one sad story. They were just shy, and then they weren't shy. Give us a single sob story, people. Come on. So moving on to the Order of the Holy Sword. So this consists of Guildmaster Payne, who's the highest ranking player on the server, and then Frederica, Dread, and Drag. And we meet Dread and Drag in episode 1 or 2, and they are top 10 on the server. They score top 5, I think, in the first event. And we meet them in that cafe, and they're like, "You don't know who Payne is?"
Max Payne.
Yeah, and I actually kind of like that we met them like that, and they were like, "You don't know this like person that you're like just behind getting second?"
I liked all these characters. Like they were great side characters. Like I have no issues with the side characters whatsoever. Like I think their exposure is appropriate. I did like after the event they weren't complete dicks about it. Like they aren't just dicks. They're competitors. You compete and you try to get one up. It's not like they're no one's sitting here like, "Who we are going to fuck with the maple tree."
Like it's all in good competitive spirit. There's no hard feelings in it.
There's no genuine evil in this show. Just friendly competitiveness. Even Payne. Payne is the number 1 player, and he doesn't resent, Maple for what she's doing or anything. And I think that's really nice. But what I'm hoping for, I will say, in season 2 is I'd like a little bit more of this guild. I want to see more about Payne and Frederica and Dread and Drag. By the way, Frederica had that awesome episode with Sally. That was great.
Yeah, no, that was probably one of my favorite ones with Sally. You're talking about the one where they like have that mock scrimmage match and Sally lies about her skill.
Yeah, and so does Frederica, of course. Yeah. Like that was such a gamer thing. I really liked that. 10 out of 10.
I actually really like that one. I guess this is dipping back into story a little bit, but I like that one because it's like something you could really only do in that setting. Because that's not something you could do as a game thing.
No.
In a game thing, because you're tied to skills, use that skill. in the setting of like a VR MMO, this is a lot more unique, I think, where you can fake out a skill or replicate a skill.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing you have to be in that Sword Art Online style VR MMO to do, which I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I think they just did a really good job with the Holy Sword Guild. You know, 10 out of 10. All their characters are pretty great.
The bone of my sword.
Then,
Oh my.
all right, so the last guild to bring up, and really the last set of characters, is the Flame Emperors, of which we know that this is a super large guild because they do a ton of recruiting, which is actually pretty funny. The whole like recruiting, like join the Flame Emperors and we will triumph as a united force.
The Flame Emperors, led by me.
Yeah, MII, by the way, guys. I already fucked up on that.
The Nintendo Wii home theme plays.
Oh, and she's like absolutely pretending to be this charisma.
I
love that.
Yes.
You owe me a soda.
I said Jinx.
Yeah,
though.
but you didn't say you owe me a soda. I did. Don't worry, I won't collect on it. I don't drink soda anymore.
Congratulations.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Drink
You've curbed your
coconut
addiction.
water.
I absolutely abhor coconuts.
How dare you?
I'm like mildly allergic to them. They are disgusting.
How dare you?
Anyways, but the Flame Emperor, we see more of the Flame Emperors than the Holy Sword, Order of the Holy Sword, but
On a
obviously,
technical level, you don't really see the characters. I think you actually see less of the characterization of them.
yeah, but we see like mentions of them more because they're such a large guild. And
You
that's
see
like,
them acting as almost a comically imposing guild more often.
yeah,
Which makes it really funny when in the third event they come out and they're all a bunch of dorks.
yeah, and we don't really get to meet anyone except for me until that last event. And I will say I like the characters that they had, but we see so little of them as characters. You know, I liked what we saw of them, just didn't see enough to make a decision. Like, I couldn't describe to you any of them. Like, there was one cleric, there was me who's charismatic, but like super. She gets like super worried over like whether people will like love her and follow her.
So yeah. We'll just get that in. Okay. Name soya.
And then there's the trap boy. I like the trap boy.
There's a trap in this show.
No, he sets traps.
I was very confused for a second.
Well, we technically did what Kanade for.
That was some bad phrasing on my part. I'm sorry. I mean traps as in tripwires and magic spells, not men and girls who pass as the other gender. Or are ambiguously confusing in their gender characteristics that are identifiers.
Like how I thought Kanade was.
Exactly. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all the characters. There's literally, I'm the devs. You know what? Let's talk about the devs.
Dev, best character right there.
Oh my God, I
Oh.
love the devs. And I love how each of the devs has like a favorite in the different guilds. Like one of them's like Pain, and the other one's like me, and the other one's like Maple.
Arguably, the devs have the only character arc in the show.
Oh my God. They're like, the first time we see them, they're like so beaten down and frantic because of Maple. And then as it goes on, they just give up.
Like in the last episode, the last thing you see them is them just saying, fuck it.
Yeah, they're just like, let Maple be Maple. She's our mascot. We cannot.
Which I think would be funny if this were the end of the show.
Yeah, but like I said, season 2 is coming. I think on behalf of all of us, if I put in season 2 to the hat, or if we watch it on our own, it's going to be a really divisive season because this could get a lot worse, but alternatively, they could also fix some of the current issues.
Possibly.
Or it could stay level, which would not necessarily make it a better show. But yeah, okay.
I guess that's everything, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, next time we'll move into our freelance. You'll see what we're pulling next semester.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Be interactive.
Yeah, help our analytics, please.
Please.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
We don't have one.
Yeah.
But if they keep subscribing to our YouTube, then we can get a Patreon.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
Actually, we might get it by the time that this goes up.
Oh God, no. All right. Try harder, everyone. We will see you in a couple of days.